Hey, this is the backup of the course introduction of Make AI Your Muse. I'm going to go through the course as if you were in the course. Hopefully you get it. Well, it started out, welcome everybody there. You're not there, so you can't do this. But we'll go through it. Today's lesson is going to be 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes because we have some logistics to cover and a lesson itself. The goal of this program, this live cohort, is to help me develop the content that we need to put in the final videos for an email course. The email course is going to be a 10-minute training course over 10 days. The content will be an essentials lesson like you're going to see today. One message, one insight, live application, a learn by doing exercises and learn more, and an advanced lesson. We're going to do exactly the same thing here in the live course. The only difference is we're not going to go through the live lessons. It'll also be longer because you can do things quicker than you can on a video. My promise to you is pretty simple. At the end of this course, you'll think different about AI, you'll work different with AI, you'll have one useful project, and if you get everything done right, you get a certification. My expectations throughout the course are: one is you participate, you do the homework. When you like or dislike something, share it in WhatsApp and ask questions. Please ask questions, lots of questions. My hopes is you'll get curious, you'll go to the learn more, and you'll go to the advanced course and you'll give feedback on the advanced course if you want to. Now, before we start, I have a confession to make to you. I'm a strong believer in what you call forcing modes in entrepreneurship. We're going to be doing this course live. It's not completely finished yet. I'm going to be learning as we go through it. So essentially, I've jumped out of a plane, went on the way down, and I built in the parachute on the way down. Now, the first thing that we need to know is that all of you are different. Some of you are newer to AI. Some of you are more immediate users. Some are intermediate users. Some are more advanced. This course is going to work for all of you because it doesn't focus primarily on AI, but it focuses on how you think and how you work with AI, on the human aspect of how you're going to get more effective. If you're new to AI, we want you to get more comfortable, but you're still going to be asked to make a tool. If you're intermediate, we want you to try to work on building a workflow. And if you're more advanced, turn this into a GPT, a gem, or some sort of agentic flow. All different opportunities that you work on. But basically, all of you are going to be doing the same thing as an end result, which is making some sort of tool. Why? Because you all face the same challenge. Now, recently I asked a question at an event. How many of you are getting a positive return on investment from AI? Almost everybody raised their hand. But let's look at the numbers. So research has shown AI makes people 25% faster. They get 12% more work done. They're 40% better quality and 43% more creative. But the reality, the hard reality, is less than 10% of working professionals are getting meaningful productivity gains from AI. By meaningful, I'm not talking about profitable gains. I'm just talking about something which is measurable. Now, essentially, there's two reasons why this has happened. The first goes back to the time of the Industrial Revolution. There's an economist named Jevon. He coined something called the Jevons paradox. In the middle of the Industrial Revolution, people said, this is going to be the end of work, just like the end of work today in the age of AI. But in fact, what he argued is there's a paradox, is when things get easier, you're going to be doing more of the things that are easier. At the start of the Industrial Revolution, people were working 4 or 5 days a week. Just after the Industrial Revolution, they were working 6 to 7 days a week. Why? Not because the work was harder, but because people could do a lot more things than they could do before. There's a usage creep. If we look at AI, it's the 14th version of your strategic plan. It's all these amazing things that you can do with AI, which have just become easier, and because they're easier, we use it more and more, and we have a usage creep. An interesting statistic that comes out from Gartner is showing that this usage creep is led to an increased use of human time to validate and control AI output. The best estimate is the typical AI user now spends 4.5 hours a week Validating and checking output, that means it's $11,000 a year in costs associated with AI. So to get a payback, you not only need to have productivity, but you need to cover this extra work that you're doing. Now, the basic issue is not the quality of AI. AI is absolutely amazing, and it's getting more amazing every day. The results that people get are not a function of just combining the two, but it's the product of the two. If AI gets twice as good, but humans are still only using it 5% of the potential, you're not going to get a lot in terms of results. What we're going to be focusing on is the human aspect of getting better. Now, before this course, I had all of you fill in an AI usage assessment. In that AI usage assessment, we went through your actual real-time usage of AI, and what we see is a huge amount of variation. Starting users, intermediate users, advanced users. There were two common growth areas. Those were in the area of reframing and stopping to think, which is about the intellectual side of using AI. There's also an elephant in the room. Are you using AI to do work that shouldn't be done? Now, this course was designed to fix something that's going wrong with AI training. Typically, what people focus on is new tools, new methods, the magical super prompts, and even go on to do agentic outsourcing. The reality, if you want to get better results from AI, you need to think before you use it, you need to think during your usage of it, and you need to think afterwards. Essentially, the pattern that we're working on fixing is the following one. There's a rush to AI. Boom! We get fast questions. We say, wow, this is cool. But what's cool isn't great. The solution is to move from what I would call an oracle or a vending machine mindset, which the user goes, asks a question, AI gives an answer back, to using AI as a partner, a collaborator, where you go back and forth. The goal of effective usage is around framing, iterating, and steering. You have to frame it, you have to give the context, the constraints. You have to iterate and realize that, in fact, the first thing that AI gives you is probably not going to be the best solution. What you need to do is you need to get volume of ideas, and then you need to give feedback. What we're going to be doing in the course is going through a 10-day program. The first 4 days are around the foundations of AI. The next 5-6 days are around the Sparks framework. Everything we're doing is validated and leading to one final goal, which is the capstone project at the end of the course. So what are the foundations? Working with AI as a teammate, day number 1 today. 2 is about the myth of expertise, and now how we seem to believe that the value of expertise is declining. I say exactly the opposite. Day 3 is about being innovative with AI, and day 4 is about how we use AI wrong. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process, the Sparks process, which has been validated with a series of studies around what behaviors drive effective use of AI. And these behaviors come into a simple acronym, Sparks, and we'll go through them one at a time. The first part is about speaking it out. It's not just typing what you want to say, but talking out loud to get clarity. P is about pivoting the conversation. We are programmed to ask AI for questions. Pivoting is going to show you why it's important to let AI ask you questions. Asking for more is about going forward and not accepting the first result. R is about reframing and seeing that the more different ways you see a solution, the more likely you're going to get to one. Keep going is about not stopping with the first thing. And keep on pushing to get more and more. And the most important is going to be strategic pauses. Stop and think. At the end, you'll have gone through the foundations. You've gone through Sparks. You should be thinking different. You should be work different with AI. What you can expect is a simple change. Instead of just rushing to AI to get an answer, you will think first. Instead of getting fast questions, you're going to have limited usage. You're going to get better context. And a wow, this cool is going to be replaced with a pushback and iteration. At this point in time, we ask people to put in a one-sentence overview of what they want to get out of the course. Most people wanted more tools. What we will see is, in fact, that's not the issue, the question. What we need to do is focus on better and effective use. So for our lesson today, we're going to talk about AI as a muse. There are essentially two different ways that you can use AI. You can use AI as an oracle, where you ask a question, AI gives you an answer, you believe it. It's the oracle on the hill. It's the answer to all your questions. Or you can use AI in a more effective way, which is AI as a muse, where AI is inspiring new ideas, but it's also an interactive tool that you can use to get more effective in what you're doing. But before we talk about AI and get started with the course, we have to define what AI is. AI is basically any system designed and trained on human-generated data to replicate human behavior. It finds patterns and it predicts the most useful response to whatever you give it. The challenge here is it gives the most obvious patterns unless you push it to do something different. There are three types of AI. Predictive AI, which is about finding patterns in the past to predict what's coming up in the future. There's agentic AI, which is about letting AI run on its own. What we're going to be focusing on here is generative AI, which is about creating new content, text, images, code. All three of them have the same limitation. They only know about you when you tell them it. The focus here is going to be on generative AI. These are the large language models that all of you have used: ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, DeepSeek, and a whole bunch of different other ones. All three of them share the same limitation. When you're asking a question, they only know what you tell them. With my clients, I do something called the hallway test. The hallway test is simple. If you're unhappy with the results of AI, stop someone in the hallway, give them the same brief you gave to AI, see what they ask you, see what answers they give you. Those are the questions, are what AI never asks. Those are the things that you need to fix. The reality is, I imagine you've asked AI to do a lot of things. It answered, you followed, and more often than not, it took you somewhere you didn't need to go. What you need to do is you need to think of a way that you fix these things to get to the right direction. Most people believe a smarter input just gives you better outcomes. The reality is an unconstrained question gives you zero impact. The tool is not the problem. The questions are. You ask the wrong questions, you get the wrong answers. AI doesn't know what your organization needs. Only you do. The people who get real value from it direct it. The people who don't defer to it. That is really the only distinction that matters, and the one that we're going to build on for the rest of the course. Now, I'd like to start with a tough question. When is the last time you sat with a difficult problem for 5 whole minutes before searching for an answer? Not researching it, not Googling it, not asking AI, not talking to a friend. Just thinking. Most people haven't done this very often. If I take a room of 100 people, maybe 10 to 15 can identify a specific instance in the last week. We've built systems that deliver speed, quick answers to any questions. Google it has been part of our language for years, and back then you at least had to think about what to search for. Now social media and AI hand you the whole answer before you even form the question. The answers are good, sometimes absolutely brilliant, but something quietly disappears. Thinking before seeing the answers, because when answers arrive before you think, you stop exploring, the alternatives become closed off, and you accept the first frame. You need to stop just asking for questions, but start building better ideas. And because the answer sounds confident, you feel more certain than you should. The tool doesn't make you wrong. It makes your judgment underdeveloped. AI can help you solve the wrong problem faster than you've ever solved anything before. And here's the really dangerous part. You often can't feel the difference. Good results come from thinking first. Help should come after, not before thinking. It's not an argument against AI. It's not nostalgia for harder times. It's a sequencing problem. Problem first, solution second. A simple way forward. The Oracle trap is simple. You ask AI what to do before you define what you need. The AI answers confidently. The answer is plausible. You follow it. And somewhere downstream, the output fails to connect with anything real in your organization. Because the AI was not working on your problem. It was working on the most likely version of your problem, based on every similar question it has ever seen. That's not the same thing. Here's what this looks like in practice. A leadership team asks the AI, what AI tool should we adopt? The AI lists 10 platforms. They pilot 3. Nothing sticks. The team concludes AI is overhyped. The real question was never asked. What's the single biggest bottleneck preventing us from hitting our target in the next 24 months? Same tool, completely different starting point, completely different value. The alternative is the Muse model. A Muse does not make decisions for you. It provokes, it challenges, expands your thinking, but only if after you've defined the direction. In practice, this means one thing. You bring the problem. AI brings the pressure test. You decide in that order. And it's always in that order. Now, here's why this matters at scale. McKinsey's 2024 survey of global AI adoption found that high-performing organizations, those contributing more than 5% of earnings to AI, consistently define strategic goals and operational bottlenecks before selecting tools. These leaders generate $3.70 for every dollar spent on AI. High performers generate 10 per dollar. Organizations that adopt tools without defining the problem first average 0 measurable impact. The difference is not budget, it's not technical capability, it's whether the problem was defined before the tool was started. I'd like to take you back to an older time to show you the importance of solving the right problems. In 1943, American military engineers were trying to keep more bombers alive. They studied planes returning from combat over Europe. They mapped every bullet hole, the wings, the fuselage, the tail section. The solution seemed obvious. You need to reinforce those areas. Then a statistician named Abraham Wald asked the quiet questions. What about the planes that didn't come back? What would we do? The engineers were studying the wrong signal. The bullet holes they could see showed where planes could survive being hit. The real damage was invisible. Planes hit and the engines never returned. The engineers had the right data, but they were asking the wrong question. Wald didn't give them a fast answer, he gave them the better questions. Reinforce the engines, not the wings. He was doing something we forget all too often. He thought before he answered. The right question wasn't where are the bullet holes? It was why didn't the other planes come back? He preserved the moment before the answer, the moment where the real question gets formed. This is exactly the moment now under pressure. Every day, in every office, people are reinforcing the wings. The faster our tools get, the more likely we are to be the engineers, not Wald. We make the same mistakes every day. We assume better decisions come from better answers. Too often we forget the wrong question leads to the wrong solutions. Today's one message is about AI as a muse, not an oracle. Ask the question, have I defined the problem before I open the tool? That question will come up in every lesson in this course. It's the foundation everything else is built on. In our next lesson, we're going to talk about bringing expertise. Now, just for fun, we're going to do an exercise in class. I'll tell you what came out of the exercise here in the video. We used a fictitious example from a film called The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book has two main characters, and we're going to talk about those main characters in a bit. Mowgli, which is the boy stuck in the jungle, and Shere Khan, who wants to eat the boy. Now, Mowgli, what he wants to do is defeat Shere Khan. He opens ChatGPT. He's a modern jungle boy. How do I beat a tiger? AI gives him 10 options: traps, weapons, running techniques. Mowgli tries them all. Shere Khan is not impressed or impeded. The answer was already in the jungle. Shere Khan fears only one thing: the red flower. But nobody's told you what the red flower is. How would you go forward now? We ask people to look at what is the real bottleneck, what is the real problem to be solved, and how could you best use AI? And then to reflect. And I'll bring the reflection question. The starting point might be a simple question. I'm Mowgli. I heard Shere Khan is afraid of red flowers. What is a red flower? Ah, a red flower is fire. Until he knew what the thing Shere Khan was afraid of, he wasn't going to get there. The question for you is, what are the red flowers in your workplace? I've got a homework assignment for all of you. Is pick a short problem that you're working on and try to identify the bottleneck. So I'm working on define your initiative or decision, define your bottleneck, and given this bottleneck, help me identify some actions I can take over a period of time. Give it a shot, see what comes out, see if this gives you better answers from AI than before. Now, one of the things that we have in all of our classes is we're very fact-based. And I'm going to give you additional information for each of the courses, which will allow you to be more on target with what you want to do. You can read more on problem definition in my book Cycles and my book The Generative Organization. There's a free download link. There's a draft video about what is the one thing to teach if you teach one thing, by me. It's not up online yet, but the answer is better questions. And there's a Notebook LM which pulls together research from all over the place on the basic question we're looking at. There were a few logistics. One, we ask you to join the WhatsApp group, log into the website, write down the daily link. If you have technical problems, you can contact Harry or use the WhatsApp chat. I'm going to sell you the next level for today. And we have an advanced course and a basic course for each day. The advanced course is on the AI divide, why 80% fail. Why you should watch it: there's 3 keys to closing the divide, and you'll learn how to better define problems with AI. That's day number 1.